Hello everyone, my name is Julianne Dorney and I will be introducing our group's topic for our International Health Project. We chose to focus on HIV and AIDS. So what is AIDS and HIV? HIV stands for Human Immune Deficiency Virus, and AIDS stands for Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. So a little bit of background on HIV and AIDS. It was originally a similar virus that was present in chimpanzees and was transferred to humans through hunting. It then mutated over many years to affect humans as it does now. So HIV, if left untreated, leads to AIDS. So preventing HIV will in turn lead to fewer cases of AIDS. Our bodies are unable to get rid of HIV like many other viruses. So once an infected person will have to deal with it for the rest of their lives. And currently there is no cure, but treatments can prolong an infected person's life and greatly improve their quality of life. Currently, some treatments can even help to prevent spreading the disease, but once again, there is no cure for the disease. So we looked into how we can start to prevent HIV and AIDS. And the disease isn't spread through common contact like shaking hands or drinking from the same cup like many common colds are, but it's usually transmitted through sexual activity or sharing needles, but can also be spread from mother to child through breast milk. So to get into a little bit about our focus on our project, we researched the highest death rates from HIV in the world, and the countries that popped up were Botswana, Lesotho, Swaziland, and South Africa. So as you can see, most of these countries are in Southern Africa, so we chose to focus on HIV and AIDS in Southern Sub-Saharan Africa. So we started to research, why does Southern Africa have such high HIV and AIDS rates? So there's no real agreement on why the disease is more prevalent in Southern Africa. Many experts have agreed on a few of these ideas. And as you can see, most of them are very just high-risk behavioral patterns that have been kind of accepted throughout the communities in Southern Africa. The biggest one being the traditional attitudes throughout many of the communities in Southern Africa toward having multiple sexual partners and premarital sexual activity. And then, of course, lack of money is another obvious challenge, and natural disasters result in economical problems like this and can drive many young women and girls into patterns of sex work. And then, of course, many of these countries are made up of tiny villages that are very spread far apart, making it difficult to communicate health information between all of them.
Hi guys, my name is Megan, and I will be describing the outline of our group's project, or in other words, the plan that we have created in order to address the health issue of HIV and AIDS in Southern Sub-Saharan Africa. So to begin, our plan is to create a thorough educational program which will include classes provided to members of the communities located in Southern Sub-Saharan Africa. These classes will be free, and they will have a range of different topics. So the materials that will be included in these classes will be what the disease is, transmission and contraction of the disease, and how one can prevent contracting the disease altogether or lower their risk of contracting the disease. We will also cover the treatment of the disease if someone does have HIV and AIDS. And then we also recognize that many of these communities in these parts of Africa have different needs. And so there will also be materials covered to address the specific needs of these communities. I will now explain the how of this program, or how it will take place and who will be in charge of it. So our hope is that these classes can be taught by local volunteers and recruitments from different organizations. There are lots of different organizations in these parts of Africa who are fighting for different causes and are a part of different movements. And we know that there are several that are addressing the same issue that we are trying to address, which is HIV and AIDS. We hope to recruit some of these volunteers in disseminating this information and teaching these educational classes. But ultimately, we would love it if natives from each of these communities could help teach and to lead these classes in partnership with outside volunteers. We know that this information will be received more readily if these people are receiving the information from their peers or from their leaders in the community. The funding from The funding for our educational program will come from grants, donors, and sponsorships. So I forgot to mention that the goals of these classes is to raise awareness, prevent and reduce new cases of HIV and AIDS, and to reduce social stigmas. And the purpose of these classes, or why we are doing it, is because we know that knowledge is the first step towards prevention. And so we want to help these people gain understanding, gain education, and information regarding the disease. Many people are in lack of a better word, ignorant. They don't know what the disease is, they don't know how it's transmitted, and they don't know where it comes from. And so if we can tell these people and educate them exactly what the disease is and how it's transmitted and the cause and everything, then we are more likely to influence behavior. And so we want to raise awareness through these educational classes because we want to initiate change. And for someone to make a change, they have to first understand why they need to make that change. And so that is the purpose of these classes. We also want to let these people know of the type of resources that are available in their area. Another goal of our educational program is not only to give knowledge and to teach, but also to provide resources. Hopefully we can gain partnership with other organizations that can help us give out materials such as condoms to prevent the transmission of HIV. We'd also love it if we could get in partnership with a type of organization that will provide testing resources. These people can go and get tested, and if they have the disease, then they can get further counseling on what they can do to treat the disease and to live a almost normal life, even though they have the disease. And for those who don't yet have it, they can have access to materials that will help them prevent ever getting it. Another goal is to change cultural beliefs and perspectives. Like I said, one of our main goals is to reduce social stigmas. And there are many beliefs regarding the disease that we want to change and we want to influence, and that we want to change perspectives so that ultimately we can reduce the prevalence of HIV and AIDS in this part of Africa. So ultimately, I'd just like to recap that our plan is to have this educational program, but the main and ultimate goal of this program is to change behavior, influence behavior so that people will want to make a change and that they will be more careful and that they themselves can make a difference in their own lives. We can never force anyone to change, but we know that if we can at least educate them or give them the necessary information, then they can choose for themselves. And so this is the purpose of our plan, and this is what it entails.
Hi everyone, my name is Haley Eslick, and I'm going to be talking to you about the barriers that we came across while we were planning our project. Let me share my screen with you real quick. So the first thing that we discovered, we knew that we wanted to work with HIV in Africa, specifically Sub-Saharan Africa. We had a lot of interest in that, and we knew that we wanted to help in some way in that area, but we didn't have a specific plan at first. And in reading my book for the book review project this semester, I learned a lot about how with diseases like HIV and tuberculosis, things that are fairly long-term and hard to recover from, it's very difficult to deal with them when you have so many other health issues going on in the area. For example, clean water or not having enough access to food. It's very hard to recover in any way from a very difficult disease when you might drink some infected water or you might just die of starvation. And we just really had a hard time coming up with a way that we could solve this just with our one group, with our one project. So we decided to tackle the problem one step earlier and look at how to prevent the spread of HIV. So that's going to be our main focus. So then the next thing we discovered, I mentioned that transportation in Africa is a lot more difficult than we think of it here in the States. And our initial plan was to have one location where we would teach these classes. And we just realized that that wouldn't be very feasible. A lot of people don't have any way of getting there. They wouldn't have their own cars or even their own bikes, and walking that long would just not be worth it for that kind of class. So we decided to do like a train the trainers program where we would have a central location just for some people from different villages that could come, and we would be able to train them to teach classes wherever they are and whatever villages they can reach. So we could spread the knowledge a lot further without the people having to come to us. We could send people to them. And specifically, that would probably be on bike. That's usually the easiest way, and we would be able to find the funding to donate some of these to anybody that didn't have it that wanted to teach the classes. And then our last thing that we thought about was just the major cultural differences that can occur between us and somebody in a different country. And our Training the Trainers program will really help with that as well, because the people who will actually be teaching the classes will be people from the area. And we discovered through a bit of research that that is often a lot easier for people to understand, and they feel that that information is more reliable when it's somebody that either they know or somebody that is from around there and just can kind of understand where people are coming from, and just be able to connect a little bit better. And so training people to teach those classes will solve that problem as well. And that was all of the barriers that we came up with.
Okay, thank you, ladies, for the presentation that you have done. So, in conclusion, we just hope that this intervention of ours will be able to help bring awareness to the people of the sub-Saharan Africa, to help them understand the disease of HIV and AIDS and how it affects them, and how they can be able to prevent themselves against it. We also try to spread knowledge about it. So once they know about it, they can be able to we can be able to influence their behavior in the way they do things and the way they live their life, and hopefully they'll be able to improve and be able to avoid being infected by HIV and AIDS. We have also identified some barriers, and we're hoping that with help from whoever can help, we can be able to overcome those barriers. Like, we need the bicycles for our volunteer trainers. We also need those home-based test kits for the people. We also need to be able to develop training material and be able to print that also. We need help with that also, and we just hope and pray that whoever can be able to assist us can give us the help that we need, that we can be able to overcome these challenges and be able to make this a success. And we know we can't really change the world overnight, but with our simple effort and our small effort, we can be able to play a part in this global fight against HIV and AIDS. And we just pray that we can be able to find success with the help of anyone who can be able to help us. Thank you.